Good day, students. Welcome to this JSS 1 Basic Technology lesson on hand tools, their identification and uses. Every craftsperson, builder, carpenter, and technician in Nigeria uses hand tools daily. Knowing each tool by name, appearance, and correct use is essential for practical work and for examination success. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to identify the main categories of workshop hand tools, describe the design and purpose of each major hand tool, state the correct and safe use of each tool, explain how to maintain hand tools, and match tools to their appropriate materials and tasks. Let us begin. Hand tools overview. Hand tools are tools powered by human effort, not electricity or fuel. They are used for cutting, measuring, marking, shaping, joining, and finishing materials. Categories: measuring and marking tools, cutting tools, shaping and smoothing tools, drilling and boring tools, joining and assembly tools. Measuring and marking tools. Rule/ruler or steel rule measures length, marked in millimeters, mm, and centimeters, cm. Steel rule is more accurate than plastic and preferred in metal/woodwork. Tape measure, flexible metal tape for measuring lengths and curves, used in carpentry and construction. Tri-square, set square L-shaped tool, used to check and mark right angles, 90 degrees, on wood or metal. The stock and handle is placed against the edge of the work, the blade lies across the face. Marking gauge, wooden or metal tool, marks a line parallel to an edge of wood for joints, tenons, mortises. Adjustable spur scratches the line. Scriber, pointed metal tool for scribing, scratching lines on metal surfaces. Center punch, used to make a small indentation, dimple, in metal or wood to guide a drill bit and prevent it from wandering. Spirit level, contains a liquid-filled tube with an air bubble, used to check whether a surface is perfectly horizontal, level, or vertical, plumb. Used in construction and furniture making. Cutting tools. Handsaw, long blade with teeth for cutting wood. Types: ripping saw, cuts along the grain, fewer, larger teeth, crosscut saw, cuts across the grain, more, smaller teeth, tenon saw, shorter, finer teeth, rigid back, for precise joinery cuts, mortise and tenon joints. Hacksaw, metal frame saw with a replaceable blade, used to cut metal, pipes, rods, bars. Teeth point forward, cuts on the push stroke. Chisel, sharp steel blade with a handle, used to cut, pare, or chop wood. Types: farmer chisel, general use, mortise chisel, heavy duty for cutting mortise joints. Always keep chisels sharp, always cut away from the body. Cold chisel, or metal chisel, used with a hammer to cut cold metal, bolts, rivets, not driven by hand, always struck with a hammer. Knife, marking knife/craft knife used to score a line or cut thin materials. Shaping and smoothing tools. Plane, removes thin layers of wood to smooth and flatten surfaces. Jack plane, general purpose, smoothing plane, fine finishing. Adjustable blade or iron, set at an angle, cutting direction is along the grain. File, steel bar with ridged surface for removing small amounts of metal or wood. Types by cut: rough, coarse, bastard, medium, second cut, fine, smooth, very fine. Types by cross-section: flat, round, rat tail, half round, triangular, square. Rasp, coarser than a file, used for wood shaping. Sandpaper/abrasive paper, fine to coarse grades, grit number, lower grit equals coarser, 60, 80, 120, 240, sands wood surfaces smooth, attached to a sanding block for flat surfaces. Drilling and boring tools. Hand drill, wheel brace turns a drill bit by hand using a wheel mechanism, for wood and soft materials. Brace, a hand brace U-shaped frame that turns a auger bit in a sweeping arc, bores large holes in wood. Bradawl, small pointed tool, makes starting holes, pilot holes, for screws in wood to prevent splitting. Joining and assembly tools. Hammer, drives nails and taps chisels. Types: claw hammer, carpenter's hammer, drives and removes nails using the claw, ball peen hammer, engineer's/metalwork hammer, domed striking face plus hemispherical pin for riveting and metalwork, mallet, wooden or rubber head, used with chisels to avoid damaging the handle. Screwdriver, drives screws. Flat head, slotted, 4 straight slot screws, Phillips, cross head, plus, 4 cross slot screws, Positive, similar to Phillips, slightly different design. Choose the correct size, a too small screwdriver slips and damages the screw head. Spanner/wrench, tightens and loosens nuts and bolts. Opponent spanner, ring spanner, adjustable spanner, monkey wrench, adjustable jaw. Pliers, gripping, holding, and bending. Combination pliers, multipurpose, long nose, needle nose, pliers, precision work, electronics, wire cutting pliers. Vise, bench vise fixed to the workbench, clamps work firmly for sawing, filing, or drilling. Essential for safe metalwork. Tool maintenance. Keep tools clean and free of rust, oil metal tools slightly after use. Keep cutting edges sharp. A sharp tool is safer than a blunt one, requires less force, less likely to slip. Store properly, in a tool chest, on a shadow board, or in label drawers. Never throw tools loosely together, dulls edges and causes scratches. Replace damaged handles immediately. 3 examination questions. Question 1. State the correct tool for each task. A. Cutting a steel pipe hacksaw. B. Checking a right angle tri-square. C. Removing a nail from wood claw hammer, using the claw. D. Making a starting hole for a screw bradawl. E. Smoothing a rough wood surface plane or sandpaper. Question 2. Explain the difference between a ripping saw and a crosscut saw. A ripping saw cuts along the grain of wood, or parallel to the fibers. It has larger, fewer teeth with a cutting action like a row of chisels. A crosscut saw cuts across the grain, perpendicular to fibers. It has smaller, more teeth that slice the fibers like a series of knife cuts. Using the wrong type produces a rough cut and requires more effort. Question 3. State 3 rules for safe use of a chisel. A. Always cut away from the body, never point the chisel towards yourself or hold the work in your hand while chiseling toward you. B. Use a mallet to drive a chisel, not a metal hammer, to avoid damaging the wooden handle and maintain control. C. Keep chisels sharp. A blunt chisel requires more force, slips more easily, and causes worse injuries. Never use a chisel with a cracked or loose handle. 3 common mistakes. Mistake 1. Using a hacksaw to cut wood and a handsaw to cut metal. The hacksaw is specifically designed for metal. It has hardened, fine teeth that cut metal. Using it on wood quickly blunts it. The HANDSAW, rip/crosscut/tenon, is for wood. Always use the right tool for the right material. Mistake 2. Using too large a screwdriver for a small screw. The screwdriver tip must fit the screw head slot exactly. Too large, doesn't fit, too small, slips and strips the screw head, damages the slot so no screwdriver can grip it. Match the screwdriver to the screw. Mistake 3. Tapping a wood chisel with a metal claw hammer. Metal hammer on a wooden chisel handle will split and mushroom the handle in a short time. Use a mallet, wooden or rubber head, for chisels. The claw hammer is for nails only. Summary. Hand tools, powered by human effort, categories: measuring/marking, cutting, shaping, drilling, joining. Key measuring tools: rule/steel rule, tape measure, tri-square, 90 degrees, marking gauge, spirit level, center punch. Key cutting tools: ripping saw, a long grain, crosscut saw, across grain, tenon saw or joinery, hacksaw or metal, chisel or wood, cold chisel, metal. Key shaping tools: plain or smooth wood, file, metal/wood, sandpaper, grades, low grit equals coarser. Key joining tools: claw hammer, nails, ball peen hammer, metalwork, mallet, with chisels, screwdriver, flat/Phillips, spanner, nut/bolts, pliers, grip. Maintenance: keep sharp, clean, oiled, properly stored. For homework: A. Draw and label 6 hand tools from different categories. B. State the difference between a ripping saw and a crosscut saw. C. Which hammer is used with a wood chisel? Why? Attempt a quiz on your LMS. Know your tools, they are the extension of your hands. Visit Litech Academy at academy.litech.com.ng. Until next time.